cleared out enough that I can hopefully at least work, as long as the car's not really frozen to the ground, because I've had that happen once with a car. It was frozen to the ground when I tried to jack it up and didn't really work that well. It's now raining, but it's still pretty warm out. The tarp's frozen on this side, but I don't think I'll need underneath the tarp, as long as I can get the front apart. What's up? The wheels are off. Just had to pop out these mix match bolts that didn't even have nuts on them to get the spindles to drop. Now I just have to undo the steering shaft, and then I'm just going to drop everything as one and drag it all out of there. I'll probably put some cinder blocks under the frame rails or something, just something for it to sit on for a while. We'll see what we can build that's tall enough. So I can't get that. I can get the bolt out, but the shaft doesn't want to slide off. It's probably hasn't been off in forever, and I don't really care to work too hard at it, so I just undid the nuts up there. Of course, they're mixed match nuts like everything else, so I have to find new nuts that actually fit that properly. What I'm going to do is, for getting the bolts over the subframe, I'm going to lower it down onto the concrete block that I have, undo the nuts, and then hopefully I'll have enough height to lift it back up with the jack and just slide the subframe out. And that way I'm not putting stress on the threads by just dropping the subframe right out of there. We'll see. There, it's down on the block. Hopefully all these nuts are 17s and they're all mixed, matched, and stripped like everything else that people have touched on this car. It's now dark on the second day, and these bolts are completely stripped and ripped away from the bracket. As you can see, there's a bracket that holds them both together. And it's completely rusted all to hell, so I've now resorted to just cutting them off. I've already ordered new ones from Nissan, about $20 each, which isn't that bad, but at least I'll be able to finally get this subframe out. And then I'll paint it for now with whatever color I can find. Hopefully it keeps the rust away for the rest of winter. So they're all out. It's getting darker, but this thing should now lift off away from that subframe. So I picked up this boot off Amazon for pretty cheap. I don't know where the part number on this is. That's the part number. But all I did was literally just went on and found one that looked similar. I didn't measure or anything. And it actually fits perfectly. I know that'll hold. But it extends all the way and everything, and it's got plenty of room to move around, so shouldn't rip. This one's not ripped, but it's definitely, I don't know what it's off of or if it's even the right one either, but since that one worked and that was on Prime, I'm going to order another one of those, and it'll be here literally like tomorrow or the next day, and then I can have boots on the rack again. And then I've got tie rods, brand new tie rods as well. I'll throw them on now that I know that the boots fit, and then this rack will be good enough to go back in the car. Video might be jumping around a little bit everywhere, but so far I've cut the subframe. I only had to cut that much out of it. I don't know if it's because I'm running an aftermarket front sump pan, or which just the GTO ones make you cut that much out of it. This fits on there. I bolted it on completely with the mounts and everything. I just did a shitty weld on it to get the metal back together. And then this actually got sandblasted as well and painted. And now I have energy bushings that will go on the steering rack. Oh yeah, I did put brand new boots on both sides of the steering rack, brand new outer tire rods, both sides. And we have brand new Rock Auto control arms for moved greasable ones for 35 bucks each. And some wheel bearings that I need to press into the front hubs. But yeah, I'm gonna assemble all this and hopefully put it back in the car this weekend. And then we will put the motor in it at some point, as it's probably not happening this weekend, since I'm still missing a whole crap ton of parts. So put everything together. Control arms I bolted in with bolts that seem to work. They're out of that Chevy that I pulled the motor out of. They're the right length at least, so it should be fine. New tie rod boots, new tie rod ends, new bushings. Everything's been, well, everything except for the steering rack has been sandblasted and primed, ready to go back in the car. So I'm going to move on to this, pressing in wheel bearings. I have one wheel bearing that feels alright and the other one feels like total crap. So I've decided to just change both of them because they were $12. And like the control arms, got them from Rock Auto. Control arms are 35 bucks each with the ball joints and new bushings in them. So I couldn't not buy them. Even if I decided to have kept it, it was only a matter of time for water and shit would get in there and it would have been blown. So now I just gotta press it back in. And just like that. I, stupid me, forgot to order a new ring, but that ring is pretty good. But just like that. Seated in there. And then just as easy as it came out. Honestly, it is like one of the easiest wheel bearings I've ever done. Which I'm surprised. I thought this was going to be a rusty shit show. But there we go, there's one done. Both wheel bearings completely done. Control arms, the new ball joints, outer tie rods, boots, bushings. Motor mounts are on, a little loose though, because it's going to be a pain in the ass to get that in there, so tighten those up later. Subframe's cut to fit, brand new subframe bolts. And I think that's almost everything I need for the front. It's a hell of a lot colder today than I thought it would be. The snow's gone away for the most part, but it's a lot colder than it should be. I've painted it with whatever paint I could find for now, just to keep the rust away. So I'll put these super fancy bolts that I bought from Nissan for a ridiculous price. Should go like that. Nice and new. There it is back in the car. Everything's got cotter pins in it, tightened down. I need to change these bolts out though, because they're definitely a little too small, but that's what I have for now. I do have torsion arms and torsion arm brackets that need to go on. I don't have any bolts for that yet though, so I just have to go pick those up. When I come back in here, obviously no caliper still, since I don't have any brake lines in the front. Totally SOL until I find a flex hose or something for it. And yeah, I'm gonna throw the wheels back on it. It's absolutely freezing cold right now, so I'm not really feeling like doing much more, but motor mounts are in, cross members notch, steering rack's in, new control arms, tie rods, all that. So there's most of the car at least back together. I'm just gonna throw the wheels on it.